Hi, good evening. Welcome to Heart Talk, coming to you from the Hard Knocks Training Center in Malaysia every Monday at 10 p.m. Welcome, and our guest tonight is Kathy Benson. Kathy, welcome.
Thank you.
Kathy is one of our trainers at the Hard Knocks Center, and we thought we would like to just get to know her a little bit better, because a lot of time we see people as the job they do, and we don't really get behind that facade. So welcome, and please, as we go along, if you have questions, comments, observations, please share them in the comments. So Kathy, welcome to Kuala Lumpur once more.
Thank you very much. Glad to be here.
And so tonight I thought we would kind of like get behind, you as how we know you. And so let's go back to, you've been a trainer in this industry for how many years?
Almost 35 years.
35, wow, okay. That's an entire career.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So I'm curious, what kind of life were you living before the training interrupted it?
So it's so interesting. I was studying psychology. I was studying psychology because my dad was a psychologist, and I loved how my dad was with people. And he was it was like human behavior kind of psychology. It wasn't sort of the clinical psychology. So it was more about people really living life to the fullest. But to me, that's what psychology was. I didn't have a distinction. I just knew my dad was a psychologist, and that's what I wanted to be, was a psychologist.
Okay.
Because of how he lived, but also how he coached people to live. And so I was studying psychology. And I loved school. I loved learning. I hated psychology. So, and literally my whole life, what I thought I was going to be was a psychologist, as long as I can remember. And so I was getting my BA degree, and I was panicking because that was what I wanted to be. And now what I thought psychology was and what it was rolling out to be in school were two totally different things. It was very clinical. It's very much, there's 40 theories about why human beings end up the way they are. They're all different. They all are prescriptive, and they all have different prescriptions. And so I was panicking because in psychology, you go for a doctorate to be anything. A BA is nothing. A BA degree means nothing.
Right.
So if you're not going to go for a doctorate, you didn't really go to school at all. And I didn't want to go and be a doctor of psychology. So I was going through this dilemma and this conflict. And then I believe it was about 3 months before I was about to get my BA degree, my cousin called me one night, and she said, and I remember this, it's 30-something years ago. I remember where I was sitting. I remember the phone call.
Right.
She said, I want to talk to you about something I just did, and I want to ask you to do this. She said, I just did a training, and it knocked my socks off, was the word she used. She said, I can't wait to get out of bed in the morning, given what I'm up to with my life. Now, my cousin was the kind of person that her not being able to wake up out of bed in the morning, to me, that was already a given. Like, she already was that kind of person. Like, fully living, risking, way more risky than I felt like I was at that time. And so her saying those words really got my attention in a different way than if, some random person would have said it. And so she was talking to me about it, and what she was enrolling me in was actually the transformation training. She had just finished transformation training. And as I'm getting interested and excited, but also nervous, because I didn't realize it at the time, but myself taking risks, kind of big risks or emotional risks, that wasn't me. I was very much a person that I played inside of my area of competence.
Okay.
And I had a really good area of competence. So I was a good student in school, straight A student, almost had a photographic memory. So I got straight A's. And that was where I got my sort of safety in life, and also my my respect or approval. If
How
you
people
wanna
look at you.
say it, yes.
Okay.
And I was very good. I was kind of skating through, but not realizing that, because I don't think we realize how we're living while we're living.
Right. Okay.
But I realized I was getting nervous about it and thinking, what is this thing? A training? And then she said to me, but before you can go do transformation, you have to do discovery.
All right.
And I said to her, can they just let me skip discovery?
Okay.
Because I thought I was so evolved, which makes me laugh now.
Yeah.
And she must have been laughing, but she didn't laugh at me. And no, I'm sorry, you're going to have to do discovery first. And so I was just at that moment where I knew the life I had planned was not going to be fulfilling.
Right, because that psychology in university was not the same as your father's version and the version that you want.
Yeah. So literally, I say it came at the perfect time. It was uncanny, like the universe created something. And I was afraid to say yes. And she was very insistent and said, I'm asking you to trust me. She was almost like an older sister, 8 months older only.
Right.
We grew up together in a sense. And so her certainty kind of made my fear less loud.
Right.
And so I said yes. And I don't know how much of the story you want me to go, and I'll do a brief part, and if you want more.
Ahead.
Okay,
Yes, go
okay,
ahead.
we can. So, so I did do discovery training, and I was so arrogant. And if you would have asked me at that time, was I arrogant? I would have said no.
Of course not.
But yeah, me. And in the training, I was like, oh, I know this already. I've studied psychology. I've done work on myself. I know all this. And luckily, she had enrolled me in transformation, because I don't think my level of openness would not have generated enough value for me to go on to transformation. And in the second day of transformation, actually, honestly, in the first 4 hours, I think, and it's hard, like when you don't know the work exactly, it's hard to understand how this could happen in 4 hours. But it's quite a different environment than discovery, as you know.
Different from discovery, yes.
Yeah. And so I was seeing things happen in there and looking at things in myself in a way I had not looked at, that I was realizing, and then it formulated in the training pretty early on, this is what I thought psychology was going to be.
Right.
This is what my dad was teaching and doing. Yeah. And so it really was like the universe organized it, because now that part is over and I can't go on without wasting years of my life.
Yeah, doing something you couldn't see the end of.
Yeah, my heart's not in it. I certainly don't want to be this clinician who's diagnosing and fixing people into a category, because again, not what my dad did. So in transformation work, I saw that it was that, like, so my what I call the work, like the context of it, is living without regret. Right. Yeah. So my dad lived that way, and he instilled that in me.
So in that first few hours in transformation, did it feel like I am coming home?
The first few hours, I started to get an inkling. By Saturday, I'm coming home. Yeah. Because, the first part of it is really looking and confronting myself and what's not been working. So it was uncomfortable, but absolutely, yes.
So where did this live without regret come about? Did it begin in the transformation, or was it something that was in your mind before that?
The words weren't in my mind. My dad was a person who lived life to the fullest, and he he lived it, and he also spoke it into being for other people. In a sense, my dad felt a little bit like a Buddhist monk or something, where they're waking you up with their being and their words. And so I always had it in my mind that life is precious.
Right.
Life is really something to be savored and to be intentional about. That we don't just wake up every day on automatic doing what we think we're supposed to do and all that.
Right.
He was a kind of revolutionary, I think, in the sense that he didn't really think in terms of there's ways that culture tells us to behave that are the right ways, and not behaving that way is wrong.
So he wasn't really a typical dad.
No.
Because most parents would say, this is the way it goes.
Yes.
And,
He wasn't at all. He was kind of like a hippie. You know, he was kind of free thinker, an adult during the times in America where we thought changing the world is what is needed.
He came from that generation, from that?
He was, when I was born in 1962, he was 40 or 41.
Right.
So, but he kind of was, I don't know if he came of age in that era, but that was the way he thought. His family was very much, his mom and dad left Russia in the pogroms. So I think there's, when that happens in your life, you have a different kind of thinking.
Yes.
Because you've come to a new country, had to start over.
Yes.
So the norms don't apply.
You don't inherit that set of stuff.
Yes. Yeah. So life without regret was always sort of what I got from him by the way he embodied life. When I was doing the trainings, I was studying different philosophers. And, there's philosophers that dedicated their life to figuring out what is it that makes a human being live to their full potential. And that's where I got the life of no regret, because it's not the common, it's not the way it's going to go if you don't interrupt it, as you put it, right? It's not going to go that way. That has to be something intentional, designed. And we aren't going to do it on our own because we are creatures of survival and comfort. So, yeah. So that's very much in my heart that everywhere I go and everything I do, I want to be a catalyst for that.
Now, so because we hear you use those words, live without regret. So where would you say one begins? I mean, yes. Some people begin when they do that training.
Yes.
Because that's what it's all about.
Yes.
To wake up to that there's more to life than what's been handed to us on a plate.
Yes.
Yeah. So what is it that triggers? Because not everybody will do the training. So in general terms, how does it happen that people, we heard your story about how the whole thing came together and you got started on it. But in those 35 years, where do you see that it happens for people, that they come upon this and then something changes for them?
Well, I think that a lot of times people wait till things are really horrible.
Okay.
And if they don't get really horrible, it doesn't necessarily change. So, and I think from my point of view, that's unfortunate because we have to wait till something crashes sometimes
before
to realize this is not what I want. And even sometimes still, we just think that's our fate. That was dealt to us. There is no choice.
So now let's get back to where we were.
Yeah. So I think that it could be something like that. Something crashes. A divorce. Somebody walks out, I realize the way I thought it was going to go is not the way it is going. Or someone or something sparks something in us that has us say it could be different than it is. It could be a film. You see a film. I think partially that's what literature and film are intending to do, is spark something in us that has us be more alive, more conscious, more connected, that kind of thing. And so, you know, somebody could come into your life. That's what I feel like my dad was for people, which is what I wanted to be. So somebody comes into your life and they're dedicated to the way you're living, not just in a kind of relationship of convenience or comfort.
Yeah, you happen to be my daughter, and that's it.
Yes, and I'm going to play dad, and you're going to play daughter. I'm going to play friend, you play friend. So I think that's why life coaching is so popular, right? It became so popular.
Yes.
So why? Why did life coaching become so popular? Well, on one level, it became so popular because it can also fit in with comfort and safety and make us look better or produce results that are more in sync with what culture wants us to do. So it can come from that end, but it can also come from the end of there is more to life than you imagine. Let's find out what that is for you. I mean, it took off like wildfire, right? At some point. Yes. So I think that also, and I do think some friends are like that for us. Some teachers.
Yes.
I had teachers, even from very, very young, who I am clear, they were not just educating me in the subject. They were educating me in like what it meant to be alive. So, and I don't know if they intentionally did that, but
yeah, that was my next question. I mean, how do you figure out that some people do that?
Yeah, I mean, I just felt it. I would. Some of my teachers saw me in a way that was me as a human, not me as a student.
Oh, a child,
yeah. Yeah, and they sort of coaxed out of me wisdom I didn't think I had, courage I didn't think I had, power I didn't think I had. And it's a form of love. It's they were loving me. And not all educators do that, of course. Some are just doing their job.
Yeah.
So I think that's how it can happen. And this podcast is how it can happen. Someone hears something, and these also have taken off, right? So I think that's another reason. They hear something that sparks a possibility that didn't exist before, and they get curious. So we can either crash or we can get curious, or we can get curious after crashing. And why I say, in my perception, it's unfortunate. It doesn't have to wait for that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it can be intentional. And so, yeah.
So it doesn't sound like you see it happening to someone alone. I mean, do we think ourselves into this kind of...
Yes, I do not see it happening alone, because why do people hire a coach? They hire a coach to see what they cannot see.
Yeah.
So we have blind spots, we have ways of being that are comfortable for us, automatic for us, habitual, and we don't even know we're being a certain way because we've always been us.
Yeah.
So it takes someone from the outside. It would be a little bit like asking, can an Olympic swimmer, because the Olympics are on now. Could an Olympic swimmer go for the gold by themselves? No. Yeah. So it's not that. It's not to say that
they can't or they don't have the ability.
Yeah.
It's just that it won't come out because they don't see it.
Yes. It takes the combination. It's like a combustion, right? Of my desire, and then someone who can lead me in a way that desire can manifest. They're not making it happen. I'm the one that needs to. I have to be committed and open and
but
all that.
But you do need a catalyst.
Huh?
You do need
the catalyst. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And also because the framework of human being is safety and comfort. Okay, so, and maybe in a future podcast we can talk about more exactly. Yeah. So if I'm left to my own devices, that's what I'm going to choose inside of that environment. So why people hire coaches also coax them out of the comfort environment. And outside of that environment, I'm going to create results I never could create inside. So on our own, the way the brain is wired is to keep us comfortable. So that's why it's not going to happen on our own, because we're literally wired to stay safe and comfortable. And for me, just speaking personally, I had such an on the outside great life living inside of my comfort zone that I would have never had to do anything because it all looked so good. And I was getting all the things that we think we want in life from the outside world. So I never would have had to have done something. And I think for many people, what happens is inside of our comfort zone, we master something enough that there's no discomfort in staying there.
Correct, because it's an accomplishment that we kind of rest on our laurels.
Yeah, and afraid to lose it.
Yeah.
Because now this is what I've built my life on and what people think of me, how I'm looked at, how I have made myself feel inside, let's say. And if I go outside of this comfort zone, could I lose that? So we'll settle for what we already have. It would be a little bit like, I know this is an American game, but I don't know how to say it in a different culture's metaphor, but it would be a little bit like playing baseball, American baseball, right? And you could go for home base, and maybe that's my biggest dream.
Right.
That's my life without regret. But right now I'm on second base, and I got here without getting out. I don't want to leave second base because what if I get out?
That's right. So you don't lose what you have. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and we can live our whole life on that base, making ourselves feel better, because I think the human spirit wants to grow and to go outside of what's comfortable for us. But we can make ourselves feel better in so many ways. We can medicate ourselves with actual like alcohol or things like that, or just stay busy. Or with some people, it ends up being they're so discontent that they start getting angry or sad, or they just feel like life is so heavy. But what if I really mess things up by going for the next base? So I just settle and And I think this is what life is. I say to people in the training a lot, what you think life is, your version, is not what life is. It's your version. And if you could see what life really is, you would be so committed to getting there. Yeah. So that's the trick, right? How do we have them see from where they are?
So do you see, because you mentioned coaching or life coach, do you see that's kind of like your role, or is there more to that?
I think in the training, there's something more going on than just coaching. I feel like it's a facilitation of an environment. So if I sat one-on-one with someone and said the exact same things to them I say in the training,
different?
Totally different. Because in the training, it's happening inside of an environment with other people. So we're in relationship with each other. And we're revealing and learning and discovering together in community. It's like exponentially more powerful. I say to people all the time, even if they paid me what every person in the room is paying me to sit one-on-one with them, so I would be making a lot more money, obviously, right?
Yes.
I would say, no, don't waste your money. And I think I'm a great coach. I mean, I've done it for so many years. And it's not the same as not only the community and working together and all that, but seeing myself and how I relate in relationship. We can't see that because we're like we say, it's like a fish in water. A fish doesn't know they're in water.
That's right.
And yet it's the most important part of their life, right? Yeah. But they don't even know it's there. We can't see ourselves. In relationship, we might think we're showing up a certain way, but it's almost like we have a movie in our own mind about how we are. Then when we can actually see ourselves in relationship, because the training is designed almost as a mirror to look into, to see how we're relating, to see what our belief system is, which I think is a miracle, because our belief system is invisible to us. And the training is designed to have you be able to see it. To me, as a psychology student, that was a miracle.
It's kind of like, how do you get out of that into this?
Out of what into what?
Out of what you think you see.
Yes.
Because if it's transparent,
yes,
then as you say, it needs to be interrupted.
Yes. Yeah. Otherwise, you're just In your own mind, the movie that's going on is all you think that's available. And our beliefs are dictating things to us, but we don't separate ourselves from our beliefs. We're just listening.
Right.
You know, one day I realized, you know, I'm listening to my voice as if it's a coach. But my voice is trying to keep me safe and comfortable.
Right.
So that's probably not what should be coaching me.
I always thought that I think what impressed me about the training when I did it, and on some reflection, was that you get this whole bunch of people in the room. They're very different, all ages,
Yes.
right? Our typical, and then we're getting a good mixture here in Hard Knocks.
Yes,
Really.
yes.
And Malaysia as well. I don't
Yeah.
think you see such diversity as you would here. For me, you tell me whether there's something to this. For me, that is a microcosm of the real world,
Yes.
and that commands my respect, because we are not playing in a sandbox. We are actually, it's a sandbox which is a miniature of the world, and therefore we're dealing with the real stuff, not imagined. Because there's no underlying agreement that we should go a certain way.
Yes.
And it's just the world as it is. Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually a good point that I didn't think of till just now. We are in a room with people that we normally would not hang out with.
Yes. Some of them maybe, but not.
Yes.
Mostly no.
Yes.
Yeah.
And even what tends to happen in the first day of the training or so, we gravitate towards the people that would be the ones we'd hang out with.
That's right. Yeah.
So, and again, you saying that sort of had me think about it. So therefore, we are getting such a much broader picture, even of what life is inside comfort zones, because we only know our own and the people we hang out with,
Yes.
or right. And so seeing such this diverse range of it, even then it's going to start to spark, my version of life is not life. Because I even can see it just hanging out with people that are different than me. Yeah, definitely. It's, I think the people that created it, I think they were brilliant.
Yes.
There was way more to it than even just what you can see on the surface. In terms of, like what you just said, that might have even been intentional, where they thought to themselves, we're going to have the whole world in this room.
Right.
And most people will never be, they'll never be able to be in front of the whole world.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Normally, that's not where we hang out.
Yes.
Yeah. And this is a so-called artificial.
Yes.
Artificial from our point of view, because our natural point of view would be the same people, all the
Yes.
time. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Very powerful. I mean, I've been in the rooms now for almost 35 years. So every time, people would think, I think that somebody who's done something for many years
Yes.
would get used to it or
That's
bored.
right. Yes.
Every single time, I will tell you, I think today, this week, I was just in a training, it more amazes me than the first training amazed me, because I have more awareness also about what's going on, and it never stops having me feel full of wonder and awe at what human beings are capable of. And then sometimes, on the same note, sad about what we realize in the world, because the world isn't in a shape that it looks like we're living our biggest possibility.
No.
I don't know any country really that feels like we've reached the pinnacle of possibility. So it's amazing that the combination of what happens in there. Yeah.
So, have you ever caught yourself kind of thinking, okay, this will be another day to see?
No. Sometimes what will happen is when I'm about to go into a training, I'll think, okay, 5 days is coming up, right?
Okay.
And it's a lot of my brain works a lot. And so I'll think another 5 days is coming in terms of I get to have myself ready. But once I'm in the training room and connected with the people, then I'm just in awe again. Yeah. I think it's when it goes from brain to heart.
Okay.
It shifts everything, right? My brain is getting ready for the training, getting, what I have to do, what do I have to get ready? And then once I'm in there and I'm connected with the people, Yeah, it's bliss to me. I'll often say I can't imagine what my life would be like if I wasn't in these training rooms where so much beautiful magic happens, you know? It's not magic, but it feels like magic. Yeah, it's just, yeah, amazing. I feel blessed. I feel lucky. And I know lucky is not a term we use in transformation because obviously I put work into it. I had an intention behind it. But that my cousin came to me that day.
Well, you couldn't have rigged that.
Exactly. Yeah, and at the right time.
Okay. Well, I can understand why after 35 years you're still feel as young about it
Yes,
yes. As you did in the beginning. Yeah. Okay. So thank you, Kathy, for that insight. We've known each other many years, but I never heard most of the things we talked about tonight. So I'm really happy that we had this chance to talk.
Yeah, thank you.
So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for staying with us. And I hope you have got a lot of value from spending the last about 30 minutes with us. And so Kathy and I will say good night now. And so here's good night from Heart Talk, every Monday, 10 p.m. from Malaysia. So see you around. Bye-bye.